think I'm handing over now back to Taylor, who's going to share some information about the resources and the toolkit.
Thank you, Coral. And yeah, just to echo what Coral said, thank you everybody for sort of participating in the interactive, excuse me, side of things. And so what we wanted to do, so alongside the 4 films that are now on our website, hopefully it's now back up and working, we wanted to sort of develop a toolkit. So we're in the process of sort of finalising this toolkit with some simple resources that can be shared to sort of share our key messages from the project. So the resources, there'll be a number of resources within this, and we're going to go through that with you in a moment. And this is something that can be used by both professionals and families, or people that support people with severe or profound and multiple learning disabilities, to ensure that they're better included in consultations or decisions. And within the toolkit, there will also be ideas on sort of how and where these resources can be used. So some of the resources, as many of you may have seen, are now live, and there are some others that are just being finalised. We thought it'd be a really good opportunity, bringing so many professionals together that have clearly got an interest in sort of hearing the voice of people with severe or profound and multiple learning disabilities, to get a bit of feedback into that before we do finalise them, to think about, you know, what would feel useful for you as professionals to see in something like that, in resources like that. So at the moment, the resources that are being developed for the toolkit include a sort of self-reflection checklist. So thinking about, you know, I said this earlier on, there was a lot of people that said, you know, we really want to do more work with people with severe or profound and multiple learning disabilities, but we're not sure where to start with it, or we're facing these barriers, you know, when we're not quite sure how to overcome them. So this is where the sort of development of the sort of checklist come from. So that is still just in the process at the moment, and we'll welcome your sort of ideas on some things that might be helpful to see in that. We're also putting together a presentation template. So we put together some short sort of presentation slides of some of the key messages that we might want to share. So this can be used by other professionals in perhaps sharing at meetings or taking it to your local authority, and by families as well, to say, you know, hey, how are we thinking about people with severe, profound and multiple learning disabilities? How are you doing that? You know, this might give you some ideas in that. There's a resource that can be used by family carers and people that support people with profound and multiple learning disabilities. So using the principles of engagement, it's a really simple document that can be used to sort of make it personalised to the person that you are sort of caring for. So thinking about, you know, time. So it might say you can complete that my son needs you to do X, Y, Z. So it just is something that can be used as a sort of practical resource to help people to engage well with your relative or the person that you care for. There is also a consultation template. So it's quite a small piece of just template drafted text, and it can be either used, there's 2 parts to it. So it can either be used for people running consultations or responding to consultations. So it's a bit of a ready-made text that can just sort of make that challenge again of how are people with severe or profound and multiple learning disabilities being consulted here? And if so, how? Just because I think the more that we can get that messages out there, the more likely it is that, you know, people will use flexible sort of alternative ways and methods to gather the experiences, preferences and views of young people. And then many of you may have seen that we've got lots of, so these lovely visuals and things. We've got a social media toolkit. So putting together all of the sort of graphics and the pictures that we've used with some literally simple, real top key headline messages. So these can be used, that can be sort of shared around on social media, that can be shared on social media, or it can be used as like a poster. But we thought that we want people to use them, because if it stops and makes one person think, oh, we haven't really thought about this group, then that's what we want to do, don't we? We're just come here today to show you what we've been doing, but what we really want and aim is that this inspires people to really think about what they're doing and doing it more and more, and that's the way that we can really get the experiences, preferences, and views of young people or any age people with severe or profound and multiple learning disabilities to really sort of influence the services and support that they access. So as I mentioned, some of the resources are still just to be finalised, and we would love to gather your input into some of these. So they'll be added into over to the What Matters to Me page over the coming weeks once they're finished, and we'll be updating people via the network forum. We'll mention about that again in a moment. But we just wanted to spend sort of 5 minutes for you guys to reflect on the morning and to think about your sort of practice and think about what would be helpful for you as either a professional or as a family carer to see within these resources that can help you to support to sort of hear the voice of people with severe or profound and multiple learning disabilities. So I'll just give everybody a couple of moments to think about that. The chat box is also open too. And by all means, if anybody wants to have any sort of follow-up conversations with us, then we would absolutely welcome that. We've been so pleased to see how much interest there's been, in this work and some of the conversations and things. So we just thought it was a perfect opportunity to get people to feed into this too. Ways to stay linked with people in this morning's webinar. I agree. Everybody being together has felt, there's been a real collective of sort of people that are all wanting to do some more of these things. So, as I say, the network forum is going to be on. We're going to mention about that in a moment and share the link. So it would be great for people to sign up to that, and we can try and bring people together in that way and keep people updated. Some more videos, different sort of, different ideas for activity. So hopefully some of the resources that are just due to be added very shortly will hopefully be able to address some of these already. So excellent, thank you. We'll leave that up. Please do continue to add in, but I'm going to hand over to Jackie now. I think we've finishing slightly ahead of time too. So thanks.
Thank you, Taylor, and thank you everyone for participating in everything today. We'll keep the Mentimeter open, so please do add things in, and obviously add anything to the chat as well if the Mentimeter isn't for you in terms of what would be useful to see in our toolkit. People have been asking in the chat when things will be shared. I don't think I'm going to create a hostage to fortune, but they will be up there shortly over the next couple of months, and we will email everyone on the network so that you know when new resources have been added. Before you all go, because I know it's the end coming and people want to leave, I can tell from the chat and from the discussion in the focus groups and the reactions that a lot of people have been really inspired by this work, and it has been a really amazing project. But as Jill said, it feels like we're really at the start of something. So the funding for this project comes to an end in June, but I feel like there's a huge amount of will out there to see more of this work happening. And I think there's probably lots of people here who'd like to do more, but don't have the capacity to do that. And so please, please, please fill in our evaluation form, which should come up in the chat, because that is a key way that we can demonstrate to people who may potentially fund future work that there's a need for this kind of project. So we'll send that round again as well. Florence has just put it in the chat, especially as we're finishing a little bit earlier and hopefully you're getting a little bit of a longer lunch break today. Please fill in the evaluation form before you go. I was meant to say that last, but there's always a risk that if I leave it right till the end, everybody have left before I've said that bit. So thank you for participating. Thanks for filling in the Mentimeters. Thanks for sharing all your thoughts. It will feed into the final stages of this project, to what goes into the toolkit, and also to, as I say, what we try and do beyond this, hopefully with all of you on board. As has been mentioned, we have a network forum. So if you visit the webpage, which is hopefully up and running again now, sign up to the forum. The link's also been included in the chat. We will keep you updated as and when any new resources get uploaded to the website. And we're also really keen to hear from other people. You know, we've shared what we're doing. We've shared what Lewisham Speaking Up are doing. We know other people here will have an interest and will be doing things. So let's build a little community that hopefully we can really take forward and start to see some change in this area. Thank you not just to all the young people and families who took part, although they are who are owed the most huge thank you for all the time they've spent on this project. They've all been amazing. Thank you, everyone. But also thank you to Ifield and Demelza, to the advisory group for this project, and to the CBF team for all the huge amount of work that's gone into it, and for running what I think has probably been our biggest webinar that we've done at the CBF. It's certainly one of the biggest, despite quite a lot of technical things causing challenges. Hopefully we have managed to share everything that we want to with everyone, and enable your participation. So thanks everyone for your time. Please sign up to our network, please fill in our evaluation form, and I hope you found it useful. Thank you.